First off, thank you all for being here for Anomaly Film Fest. This kicked off one heck of a great start here. We have the director here, Albert Birney. Thank you for being here. So we have about 35 minutes to get some questions and answers, to get anything you want. We'll have a couple little moments at the end to get some other questions from you guys as well. Looking forward to this, my gosh. As I was watching it, I've been writing down notes like crazy.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah. So, let's see, I just want to get this out of the way. Yay. When it's really good, I have notes. No, like thing there. So first off, actually, this was the first movie I watched for the submissions of this. So you set a bar for awesome, for creativity, and everything else. So thank you for this. You were, just to let people know too, you're also the co-director and co-writer for it as well, right?
Ken Tucker, who plays Preble, co-wrote it, co-directed, and then acted in it.
Nice.
And he couldn't be here. He's in Brooklyn and had another engagement, but I can't wait to tell him about the screening because it looked great up here.
Oh, it looked amazing. Oh my gosh, yeah. You also acted it. You have a bit of a Blue Demon build about you, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is this what it was?
Yeah, the Blue Demon and then the Frog Waiter.
Oh, look at the Frog Waiter too. You got all the good parts.
Yeah, and Ken Tucker and I made another film before this, Silvio, where I dressed up in a costume, and I had so much fun doing that. It was very important that I was able to do that again.
Nice,
so I wrote those characters, yeah.
Definitely check out Silvio, but 2017 came out. I actually have the description for that one, just so a side note, this one. It's a film about a small-town gorilla joins a local TV program where a series of on-air mishaps send him on a journey of self-discovery. Yeah. So check that out too. We suggest awesome movies. There's another one too.
Last time I was here in this room, that was being shown, so 4 years ago.
Oh, we have a great theme going on right now.
It's good to be back.
Well, when you do more movies, let us know. We have you back here, and this is how it's going to work.
Definitely.
So, and actually, speaking of that, you actually are, or this movie at least partially written here in Rochester. You're a local dude.
Yeah.
Did this come about from a garbage plate fever dream, or what happened here?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I lived here for 5 years, in 2006 to 2011, and worked at the George Eastman Museum, the Dryden Theater. Shout out. And so I was watching a lot of movies, and I had made another film in Rochester with my friend John called The Beast Pageant, which I think showed here too. So this might be the only theater in the world that has shown.
Yeah, look at that. The little theater got exclusivities. That's how it works.
Special spot in my heart. So anyway, we were just watching a lot of movies and making The Beast Pageant and watching movies, and all the ideas that weren't really going to the Beast Pageant were getting set aside for Strawberry Mansion.
Oh, really? That's
and yeah, it was like kind of, sometimes when you're making a movie, you're already thinking of the next one because it's like the boring stuff or just kind of like building walls and costumes, and you're already kind of like, oh, when we finish this, we can do the next one. And that was like 14 years ago, I think, from that initial. Wow. So this movie was a long time gestating and changing, and Ken Tucker came on in like 2012, and then, we spent time working on Silvio, so it's just like many years to get up here on the screen. So it's a little surreal to be back here in Rochester, where it was like the initial spark to be showing it. It's kind of been circle. Like all day been a little bit of a weird, dreamy.
Do you like lick an ice cream cone and I'll come snapping back?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just like pass a building and can remember I remember when I got the idea for this moment of the film in that building.
That's so great! Oh my gosh! So I would love to see the sketchbook for this. So it's a evolution of this whole thing.
Yeah, many sketchbooks, many Tumblr inspiration pages. When Tumblr was still around. I don't know if that's even.
I think there's a few Tumblr accounts still.
So long time.
Nice. Now, so such a interesting film, easily to say. But as this was kind of unfolding and being created, what's the vision for what you hope to see? What will end up on stage? Was there stuff adjusted on the fly? Like how this thing kind of evolved?
Oh
here?
yeah, I mean, so much of making a movie is like you have an idea, you're all ready, and then the day of something happens, like it all falls apart. Like when we were shooting on the ship in Baltimore. So we shot this in Baltimore. That's where I live now. It was this old Civil War ship in the Inner Harbor. That's like a tourist, like people just pay $5 and walk around the ship. Yeah. And so they let us film on it, but there was just tourists walking around. So like some of the shots we would just like cut. There's just like, they're like, and then they just kind of be watching. We're like, oh, you can watch, but just like over here would be great. And then it's right next to like the Ripley's Believe It or Not restaurant, which was playing, Britney Spears, and we couldn't get them to turn it off because they didn't know how. It's like a corporate.
Oh my God.
So it's like, all right, so the sound, we've got Britney Spears going, we've got tourists walking, so we're gonna have to like change the way we shoot. So things like that just you have to roll with them, and you know, hopefully what ends up on the screen, you can't tell that like that was the hardest day of filming, you know, and we just made it work. You had the rat heads,
great,
and
my
you
gosh.
know,
So how rigorously did you stick to the script if a day like that unfolds?
So it's a combo. It's like you write the script, you spend, you know, 14 years on and off working on the script, and then the day of, you're getting ready to film, and you realize this paragraph that you have like labored over is not necessary, and you throw it out. You know.
Oh, wow.
So it's tight and loose. You know, you come in really tight, but you got to be loose. That's what I like to say. Like, okay, and also because it's a dream movie, we got so much of it going in the edit, you know, because it's like, well, once it becomes this like dreamscape, anything can happen.
And that's one of my questions, because the nature of dream sequences, you're allowed to have some freedoms to it.
So we have a cut of this that's 30 minutes longer, where Preble goes, he's walking through the desert, he gets lost, there's a scene with a toilet in the middle of the desert. It's a whole thing. Like the DVD, you might see it, but it just wasn't working. It was like too lost in the dream, you know, like we had to bring it back. So we were stuck, and then one of the days we were filming, Kentucker's inside, like getting the grass suit on, so we've got 10 minutes or something, and I'm out there with Grace and the camera person, Tyler, and I said, Grace, there's a caterpillar, would you mind picking that up? She's like, oh, no problem. So we got some B-roll of like a minute of her with this caterpillar, not in the script, not planned.
Which you see within the first, 10 minutes.
That's the first moment of her in the
yeah.
dream, is her with this caterpillar. So it becomes this like repeating motif, and then it becomes, you've got to turn yourself into a caterpillar, which she says because he was going to be Preble was going to turn into a butterfly and fly home through the desert, this whole other sequence I mentioned. But that wasn't working. So it's like, well, we've got her saying turn into a caterpillar. We have her looking at the caterpillar. Let's just have him turn into a caterpillar, swim across the ocean, go across the desert, get home. Like it cut 30 minutes. But because it was a dream, it's like we could do that. And we got a stop motion, you know, friend to do the caterpillar.
Which is a great job, by the way, stop motion. Everything's phenomenal.
Lawrence Becker, he was an old friend from Vine back when that was a thing, and he's just, you know, the way he makes stop motion is incredible. It's just the level of patience I could never do. But he did that. He did like when Preble's face melts away,
in the mirror there.
the skeleton dancing in the graveyard. He did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. So, but I circle back around to the thing that the caterpillar was, hey, we have a B-roll footage back, and strung that through a word. And that was one of my favorite parts.
That's like, the looseness. You gotta, you know, the day of, you see the caterpillar, you gotta just think, oh, we gotta get that, you know. And if you are open to those things, those little magic moments that you can't plan for.
Yeah.
You know, 14 years thinking about the script, I never thought he would turn into a caterpillar. You know, never thought she'd put one on her finger. So you gotta have a little bit of both. You put them together, you get some good music in there, and maybe you got a movie.
Oh my God, I would never have guessed that.
I shouldn't be telling these secrets because it makes it seem kind of...
No, this is an inside scoop for all the
like
Anomaly
another
people.
director would be like,
You're
well,
making all these people special, even more special than normal.
caterpillar we thought about for years. That was the idea, and you know, it's like, but you know, it's making movies is just like you just got to do it and persevere, and you know.
Now you said you had 30 extra minutes, so that leads into those questions of like, what was some of the hardest artistic choices you had to make in this film?
Well, the Blue Demon scene goes on for another 15 minutes. There was a real long version of that, and I loved it. I wanted to keep it going. It got weird. He plays the lottery. He like has lottery numbers on the TV.
Oh my God!
And you know, Kentucker kept saying, "We gotta trim that." You know, like I was like, I don't know. And you know, we kept trimming it, and we got it down to whatever it is now. I don't know, like 8 or 9 minute moment there. But that was tough. I liked the Blue Demon. I liked playing the Blue Demon. You know,
I gotta say, if the Blue Demon in that shirt selling salt was almost a Halloween costume of mine. You know, I thought
that's cool.
I was very impressed by that. So.
Yeah, you know, there was a longer version with the salt, you know, salesman.
Wow, a salt salesman Blue Demon.
Yeah, so the DVD, check it out. There's some more Blue Demon.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Come back for a viewing party. Watch that again. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Watching this film, I had a little bit of a vibe of like feeling like little early like Wes Anderson, but what I kept getting bubbling through was a lot of those kind of a boyish adventure movies back in the day. A little bit of like Never-Ending Story, a little bit of, and also this is weird too. There's a bit of which is a odd mix, but kind of The Shining with those the shots and everything else. Ooh,
yeah.
I got it. I got something.
We use the lenses from The Shining.
Oh my God! Look at this.
Not the ones, but
No,
like you know, you look them up and then you track them, the other versions down of them. But yeah, just the look of that movie we talked about a lot with Tyler, the zooms, and then Never-Ending Story was like that was my true love. You know, as a kid, I'd watch it every weekend.
That's one of the movies when I was watching. That's what it kept bubbling through. Just a bit of that sort of alternate universe. There's a pull. There's wake up from dreams.
Yeah, and as a kid, that movie, it felt so huge. And Bastion. If you haven't seen it, Bastion's like he's stuck in the school, and there's a storm going on, and he's reading, and he's thinking about the adventure, and he's in the adventure, and it's like you can't. What's real and what's not. And as a kid, I just remember like being so invested in that story. And all those movies, those boyish adventure movies, or just kind of those surreal kids movies, but they have some really amazing effects and moments as an adult you can still appreciate. That idea of those movies was inspiring to us. We really wanted to try to make a movie that made us feel like we did when we were kids watching those movies. That we just kind of get lost, and you go along this adventure, and hopefully, you're transported somewhere else for 90 minutes, and come back.
I believe you have pulled that off amazingly well in this film. Holy
cow! I can't believe you got Shining. Those are the big ones that were definitely. Yeah.
I like a lot of movies.
Yeah.
The reason I'm a co-founder for a film festival for a reason. I watch a lot of movies.
That's cool.
And that's the reason we love the Anomaly, is a chance to bring movies that truly hit those like marks that speak to a person. So that's having this here and kicking it off is why we wanted it. It's just visual. It sets the tone for like weird, yet also there's an indie DIY budget but big dreams, and that is Anomaly Film Fest, by the way, guys. Big budgets, not yet, but we will. We will. So this movie definitely there's a very nice like homey sort of vibe of the constructions, like the helmet he puts on. There's the wolf, the mice mask, everything else. And also there's a lot of nice heavy stock footage kind of maxed together in there. But it's done so well together. How did you accomplish getting all of that sort of DIY hominess vibe with still having, this is maybe a small budget, but it still has a big budget vibe about it.
Yeah, I think, we had years, so I was thinking about it for a long time of the different looks and stuff, and I think it was just about finding the right people. So the wolf mask, the rat mask, and the blue demon mask were made by this amazing team in Baltimore that I had been following for years. Before I even knew they were in Baltimore, I was following them on like Twitter, and then I saw that, oh my gosh, they live 15 minutes from me. So I was like, if we could get them on board to make a couple masks, even though that's like a lot of money for our budget, it's a lot of money. I think it would be worth it just to get those four up on the screen. And then, the frog head, let's make that a little bit more, that can be its own strange thing. Let's make that
which worked well because it come from her mind, and we saw those kind of big, the bodies that they had sitting on couches.
Right.
It felt like her dreams pulled over to his, which she's been experiencing dreams so much more. It would be a little more reality, a little more intensity to it.
Definitely, and then the dream helmet and then the auditing helmet, just like the fun it is to make machines. Like when we made the Beast pageant, we took apart TVs and glued stuff back together, and it's just so fun to like get your hands dirty and create things. And even though it looks homemade, I think if you like believe in it and you put it all up there together and you have it, it working with the story, it adds to like the charm of it all,
Truly,
and
truly
dreams,
does.
I think, are already kind of like feel a little bit homemade or like they could fall apart at any second. So hopefully, it works in that way too. Just like none of this is real. This is all just a dream. Movies are dreams, It's like
it's playing out in front of you.
Yeah.
So how long was the shooting schedule for this?
So we shot in 2 chunks. We shot in the end of September and October of 2019. We did 14 days then.
Okay.
And then we took like a month and a half off to make more costumes, sets, props, and we shot in December of 2019, like right under the wire, because we were like starting to hear the whisperings coming out of the news of what was coming, and just finished in the nick of time, and then basically edited all of 2020.
Oh, nice.
So
that's a question you could ease into right now too about 2020. You're making a movie, pandemic. Congrats for you were here.
Well,
yay, but wow.
we had one more shoot planned in April. We were going to go to California and film in a desert for this dream sequence that takes place in a desert, and that was canceled, obviously. And so we the money we had set aside to get 4 or 5 of us to California and all this stuff for a day of filming, that was like extra money that we could put into the effects, which ended up being perfect. Like, oh, we have this extra money. That's how we'll pay for the caterpillar, stop motion.
Nice.
So it worked out. It's like if we had been able to go to California and film the desert, maybe we would have gotten amazing footage and it would have found its way in the film and it would have been a different movie. But it's like the movie could have been 100 movies, you know, and this is the one that we got to with all the moving parts. But overall, I think it was like 22 days of filming that first time, or those first 2 times. And then, you know, like I said, in the edit, there's animating and there's making new scenes where there weren't. There's getting stock footage. There's combining elements and putting it all together. So
yeah, and it seems like you definitely merged the practical with that. Like the fly, it definitely seemed like there was a realism, but there's a mouth in there. And
yeah, that fly I got in Rochester actually.
Really?
And
pride people
like
take
I said,
pride in that.
This
right
took
there.
many years. I was in my friend Nick's studio, and there's just a perfectly preserved fly on the floor. And this was 2014. I was having a weird year, and I picked up this fly, and I put it in a little bag, like a little Ziploc bag. Mm-hmm. I Ziplocked it shut, and I wrote, "Don't throw this fly away. This fly is my future." And I pinned it to his wall. You know, it was a weird year. And then I took that bag with me, and I moved around every year, and it always made its way with me, this little fly. And it somehow was like I said, like making a movie is a hard thing, but it's like I got my fly. Like no matter what happens, you know, if this movie's made or not, I have the fly. So that's the fly you see. You know, it's like
oh my God.
It actually made it into the shot where it crawls across the plate in stop motion, and then it was kind of covered in food, and I finally like put it into the dirt. It was
he did his job. He's
you know, 6 years later.
Oh
but I was so happy that it did make it into the movie. So
well done on the fly. Never knew what was.
But that's a
happen.
Rochester fly.
Oh, I can tell. I do have a question that's been in my brain since I watched this movie. How many VHS tapes did you have in this film?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So in Baltimore, a year or 2 before we started filming, I was part of this collective called Beyond Video. That is a video store where you can rent DVDs, Blu-rays, and VHS.
Okay.
And the VHS, we were only taking kind of like the obscure ones that weren't released on DVD. But people would just bring us boxes and boxes. Like I got VHS 100, you know, every day 100 tapes.
Oh my God.
And we'd go through and maybe pull 3 to rent, and the rest I just kept taking. You know, because it was like we had a basement full of these VHS tapes, and I was kind of like, again with the fly, I was like, well, someday I want to make this movie, and we're gonna need tapes. Just kept taking them, and when it was finally time, yeah, there was. I mean, I don't know the exact count, but you know, maybe 1,000 or so. And we would open them up, take all the tape out, close them back up.
Yeah.
And at some point, we were like, we don't have enough to fill all the shelves. What are we gonna do? And we had been throwing away some of the boxes, you know, and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we could paint the boxes black.
There
and we
you
doubled it just like that. And so, you know, half of them are tapes and half of them are just like the empty boxes.
And then you took the tapes out. There was how many? There's VHS. I don't know what you call it, creatures, people, and the things. There was a whole field of them at one point. Those were all real people. They weren't like.
I could tell you most of them, like, there's my stepdad, there's my brother. Because one of the tapes, my stepdad fell down like a gopher hole. So like the character, I think it made it in. There's like a moment where one of the tape kind of like falls down. But that's all friends and family. We made those suits, you know, and
It's a lot of gluing, seems like.
and then, you know, it makes it into like 3 seconds of the movie in like kind of a dream. But eventually, or originally, that was going to be one of the last shots of the movie.
Oh,
it was
really?
like
I gotcha.
like this huge long shot of them walking, slow fade to black, and you just, you know, in the edit it wasn't working. And there was a period where it wasn't even going to be in the film, and I just remember thinking, I'm gonna have to tell all these 35 people that came out here and like were sweating and tripping in gopher holes that they, you know, it didn't make it. But
oh my God.
we fit it in there real split second. So
I felt great. I felt natural. Felt in that.
all right, it's good to hear.
But the effect, I mean, the effect of just that plastic, that tape just moving in the wind, or it was walking through. Yeah. I was really caught off guard. I didn't expect it. Like I watched it being like, that's wow, well done. Yeah. Good eye for that, I guess.
And that was, you know, I just love taking apart those tapes my whole life. When I was a kid, I'd even do it when they broke. I would open them up, and it was just like, it felt like, wow, I've got so much new stuff to play with here. You know, like, I can make things out of this. So that's all. That character, the VHS creature monster, was an early concept, and I would test that out through the years. I made one of those suits like 4 or 5 years before we filmed this, and just got some footage of friends walking, you know, just to see it. Just like, if I don't make the film, at least I got to see this image of like this tape creature.
Yeah.
And you know, in the movie, there's longer, like I said, there's the longer cuts where you see more of that creature, and there's a little bit more of like what it is, or but eventually it's just kind of like, I think less is more. We'll just a couple moments in the hallway, down the stairs,
yeah, it's a great one,
in a field. That'll be it.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, good use of tapes. I'm glad they're being re-loved and everything.
Yeah, and I think I wanted the main suit, the main one. I think that was mostly Wayne's World. Like, that's
I appreciate you know, because I was going to ask a question like, he won't know what tape is
no,
on.
I was definitely like, there was a couple suits that I made earlier where I was like, I want to make these special ones, and Wayne's World was a big one for me. So
that's awesome. You should let the people know of that movie.
I've never mentioned that either, by the way. So that's the first time.
More exclusivity.
Yeah.
That's why people come to this festival, for all the cool facts like that. I love factoids. So, are we doing good for time? How much? Nice. Got 10 minutes left. Let's actually get a question from anyone. You just yell out in the back.
An audience question about Easter eggs.
So an Easter egg. If those didn't hear it, Easter eggs and
Yeah. So the beast pageant, which I mentioned earlier, there's the furry creature with the horns. We refer to that creature as the Beast King, and the Beast King is the stowaway on the ship. And then also at the end there with like the parade and the bubbles, the Beast King is there, and partly that's a little like Easter egg, but also it's just like I still have that costume. So we need to put more costumes on the screen. And then Silvio the gorilla shows up, and Herbert from Silvio, his kind of muse, was there.
Those are a lot of the ones that are waving when they're going on the bubble.
So Herbert's like this bald man. It's like his little puppet, but this guy John Sheldon, who's just a Baltimore person we found on Craigslist, has played Herbert now in 2 movies, and both the times he kind of shows up, puts the suit on, does his thing, and leaves. And this last time he's like, anytime, I'll come and do it, anytime you want. So it's kind of like I got to keep putting Herbert in. And then Silvio again, I got the costume. But if you want to go a little deeper, I like, this to me is like a kind of a sequel to both the Beast Pageant and Silvio. I don't know if sequel is the right word, but they're in the same universe. And especially because Preble in this movie is Kentucker plays Al Reynolds in Silvio, and it's almost like, is Silvio just one of Preble's dreams? Does that whole movie just exist in this, like, he's had many dreams, and here's all the creature or people he knows from his life and his dreams, and there's Silvio. So maybe that's one way to explain it, but also, I don't know, whatever. However you want to look at it, it's another costume. Fill the screen.
So are there stuff in this movie that we're going to see in another movie coming forward, or just?
There's maybe a little bit. There's also this character Fanny, this purple-headed creature that is from my animations. I do Tux and Fanny. Again, I had the costume, but also it's all it's all connected. We're just swimming through the same ideas and all the things we do. And the next movie that Kentucky and I are working on, again, it kind of feels like the end of a little trilogy, maybe Silvio and this. And they're actually, there is a so Bella's like headed, big-headed statues throughout the house. I still have that head, and I feel like I'm not done seeing that head. So I think we want to make one more movie with a bunch of masks and just like kind of take it to its limit. So I think all these ones will be back. You'll probably see the rats again. I still have them all. The wolf will be coming back. And
Good. I can't wait to see more of this. Oh my gosh.
Bigger, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm looking forward. Got one more question from the audience up front here.
An audience question about the influence of dreams.
Definitely. Big time. I used to keep a dream journal for many years, and just little snippets of things. It's hard to understand, but the line when Buddy explodes at the very end, he says a line. He says, "What planets have I been?" And that was directly from a dream. In the dream, it was the song, a Neil Young song. I remember thinking like, oh, that's a great title for a song, like Neil Young, amazing. What planets have I been? And then the day that Linus, who plays Buddy, he flew in from LA, we picked him up and went out to Sushi just to like talk about, we were gonna be filming in a couple days, and he took off his jacket and he was wearing a Neil Young shirt. And it was like, that's amazing. And he's in the script, he's scripted to say that line, and it's just like, so the dreams, I think they're like maps. They can help point you in the right direction, or there's so much going on in them, and you can remember just a little bit, but that little bit can be a seed to an idea that you can keep going with. There's many more of those little examples in this, and sometimes it's like hard to remember exactly, but I know that it was somewhere from a dream or a movie. Even like a lot of things in here were from watching movies that the Dryden and the Little.
I'm glad we can infect it in all the right ways.
Yeah, and in terms of like the dream logic, I remember, again, this took so long, I went and saw Inception when that came out at Pittsford, probably with a couple of people in this theater, And I remember like, oh fuck, like I took too long making this movie. Like Christopher Nolan's making the dream movie, and I remember watching, being like, this is not like what my dreams feel like. This is like a James Bond movie, you know, and like that's cool, like it's fun, but I really wanted this to like the weird logic of dreams and just how things change and
very much so. I think the dream logic you grabbed was.
It can be mundane too, you know. It's like the Blue Demon could just cook a burger, you know, like all right, that happens too, you know.
Nice. Good question. Thank you so much. Perfect dream. Got a couple minutes left. One more. So the guests at the festival here are getting more of your work as well. You did some animation for We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is screening Sunday. I hope to see everyone there for that one. Without too much spoilers, can you give a little bit of that?
You got to see this movie. Got to see it. Sunday, made by a dear friend, Jane Schoenbrunn, and she just, also, Jane's next movie, that's going to be wild. Just watch this one to get ready for that one. But anyway, it's a movie that just feels like it's born of like the time period that we're in, of like the internet and ASMR and getting like, it's like a horror movie about like being on the internet as a kid, you know? But I did like 20 seconds of animation in it, and I've seen the movie now I think 3 times, and it just keeps growing every time I watch it, and it doesn't leave you. So if you want to like go on a wild trip, Sunday at what time?
What time is Sunday? Sorry. Just come all day Sunday.
Just be here Sunday.
Okay.
And
check the schedule online. Something else.
Yeah.
Nice. Actually, before we go, but your animation, you've been doing animation. The characters are
Tux and Fanny.
And then you're moving to a game as well.
The video game just came out about a month ago.
Congrats.
Yeah.
God, congrats.
So 2020. I was editing this and then also working on the game, and like the two of those things, I'd kind of go back and forth. When I got stuck on the edit, I'd make the game, and it's available on the Nintendo Switch and the computer, and it's like a throwback to King's Quest and Space Quest, all those early Sierra games, and Maniac Mansion, and had a great time making it, and it's $10, so hours of fun.
And the adaptation from the animation into game went smoothly? I think it was done.
So the animations I do in an 8-bit, like early Atari, Nintendo kind of style. So it made perfect sense to kind of just keep it going in that style. And actually the video game, the ending, the little spoiler, the ending of the video game is the first episode of the Tux and Fanny movie. So it's a prequel of sorts. It kind of explains how they got to where they got.
That's amazing. So we have pretty much good. A couple minutes. One last thing. How about this? You now go back in time 14 years and talk to yourself making a film. What would you give yourself in advice? Or even other filmmakers, what would you do?
Oh, damn.
Keep the fly, right?
Yeah, if you find any bugs, keep the fly, film the caterpillar. I don't know, just, that's a tough one. I don't know if I have an answer. Just
well, how about how about if a filmmaker comes to you, because this is a remarkable film, and it big dreams and it seems to keep in a solid budget. A filmmaker comes up, goes, "How can I make a good movie?" What would you tell them?
Just dream big, film your dream. Just don't get in your way. You know, like get some people around you, some good friends, and have fun. Also, just play. You know, it's like. I teach some film sometimes in Baltimore, and the students can get so hung up on making everything perfect, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's got to be fun. You got to be having fun with it.
Yeah.
And that's, if you're having fun and you're playing, and yeah, it's hard, and there's going to be, the Britney Spears song that you can't turn down, and all these hard things happening, but you got to laugh with it and roll with it, and, just do it, and have fun, and play, and then we'll see you up here.
Well, that's a perfect button on this thing. Thank you so much for being here. Remind people how they can find you, social media, whatever they need to do to get a hold of you, find you, or pay you more money for movies.
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm around. Simply Silvio on most of those.
Simply Silvio.
Or Strawberry Mansion. We have an Instagram. Probably put some pictures up there of tonight, maybe.
Nice. Well, we'll share them with you too.
There you go.
Well, thank you for being here. Next movie, let us know. So thank you all for. Please.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, perfect. So we remind everyone, Anomaly Film Fest, anomalyfilmfest.com/vote. So we're going to be voting for movies, for the favorite movies. Spoiler, I'm putting this one down, so please.
I'm going to vote for this one. No. Vote twice, 3 times, many times.
No. Thank you for being here. My gosh.